Hey everyone, welcome back to your week ahead astrology breakdown with me, Matthew from Stillwater Alchemy. How are we all doing? I want to check in at the start of this video because I've been getting a lot of feedback from friends, clients in the DMs that people are just feeling a lot right now. And with the start of the year, many set goals and intentions. It's Capricorn season. It facilitates this energy, but if you feel like maybe you're a bit more tired, under the weather, behind that energetic 8 ball, you're definitely not alone. Remember, at the start of this year, we had Venus retrograde conjunct Pluto. Pluto represents that drama, subconscious fears, control, power, death, and rebirth with regards to Venus, love, relationships, what we desire. That's a lot to take on and move through. And then we also had Saturn squaring Uranus. We still do. Saturn, rules and restrictions. Uranus, freedom, revolution. A lot of people wanting to have that freedom in the form of travel and having all these new restrictions as one example, which is also causing a lot of stress and anxiety when all these new rules and restrictions are taking away certain liberties that we thought we once had. And we also still have the pandemic. So please be sure to give yourself some credit. Take the rest when you need it. I literally had a nap right before I filmed this and it was like 8 p.m. and I didn't care. I was like, I need a nap. I'm tired. So be sure to approach things from a novel thinking or not having to do things like you thought you always had to support yourself, to take care of yourself, upping your self-care, upping different resources to support you, which is especially going to be important this week, which we shall get to. And also I want to clarify, because I'm getting a lot of questions about what is the difference between the Astro Calendar collaboration I did with Chris Corsini and the Astro Guide. So the Astro Calendar acts like a journal, a day planner. It's a PDF that you can print out. Every single month I provided a general snapshot of energy with the astrology, do's and don'ts, dates of the lunations and the retrogrades, and all the symbols for the lunations and the retrogrades are actually in the calendar, so you can make little notes. And it acts, like I said, more of like a journal. The astrology guide, which I did independently, I also did this last year as well for people who purchased it and invested in it. It acts more like an ebook. So it's almost 80 pages, also in a PDF form. And I go through month by month and go through every single planetary transit, what it looks like, how it interacts with the rest of the planets, auspicious dates each month, as well as all the lunations, what to expect with the retrogrades, eclipses, everything in full detail and breakdown. So if you're more of an astrology aficionado or just wanting an additional resource to learn, check out the guide, more of a general, flavorful, colorful journal type aspect. That would be the Astro Calendar with Chris Corsini. And of course, they would pair very well together if you wanted to have both and have them side by side to make notes and to grow and expand in that way. So let me know if you have any additional questions in the comments, and I'll put the links to both in the description of this video. Okay? Perfect. So let's jump into the week ahead, shall we? So, gentle reminder, I'm using Eastern Standard Time because I'm currently based in Toronto, Canada. So on Monday, the moon is at those final degrees of Aries. So we'll be moving into Taurus literally an hour later in Eastern Standard Time. So with that moon in Aries or Taurus, depending on your time zone, it really will kind of affect the energy a little bit. I would really just use Monday in general to knock a lot of things off that to-do list. Remember that Mercury is going to be stationing retrograde on the 14th later this week. So I would really use it to back up all of your electronics, get everything sorted. I had a couple clients have some technical difficulties or some minor driving accidents as well. So please, 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 like I said, grounding, making sure your head is in the right place to cultivate the energy and help protect yourself. And remember that we do not view retrogrades as bad or problematic here at Stillwater Alchemy. We like to use it as a time to slow down. But if we're trying to do everything and go from point A to point Z in a very short period of time, that's where the hiccups can happen, or that's where the universe will maybe try and slow things down so that we can have more time to be introspective and to learn the lessons needed. I also find sometimes too, and this goes for Venus retrograde, which is still happening when Mercury retrograde occurs, it sometimes doesn't affect you at all, but more so the people around you and how you approach those situations, those triggers, those conversations. So if you keep having, let's say, a friend that keeps going through problematic relationships, how are you going to show up when that friend is projecting all of this energy onto you? Are you going to continually go about in the same way, or are you going to enforce better boundaries? And so you're not going through any relationship difficulties with regards to lovers per se, but in this example, your friend is. So that's also some way I want you to re-examine, again, retrogrades in general, that sometimes transits don't affect you personally. It affects other people's in your life, or it affects your boss or your parents or your family. And then of course you are associated by affiliation. So just a thing to note. With the moon going into Taurus, it's going to have more of that grounded, stable energy, making a nice sextile to Jupiter. So like I said, it's a great productive energy to get things moving, to get things done. I do also want to note this Mars square Neptune aspect, which is going to go direct on Tuesday, January 11th. So here's the thing. I'm not sure if you all remembered when we had Mercury square Neptune back in December, near the beginning of December. I want to say like the 5th, 6th, 7th, with Mercury representing communication. At that time, a lot of people were forgetting things. Things were getting lost in translation, emotional or mental overwhelm, or just not being able to be that productive. Because with Neptune, it can have this illusionary, delusion, dissociative quality where it's like you're trying to hold water, especially with Neptune in Pisces. And I think of Mars and Sagittarius as like the Brad Pitt archetype, or the characters that he plays in TV and film, as this like gregarious, charming, sexy, confident, like does whatever it wants. And so on Tuesday, I really want you to be careful of this Mars square Neptune aspect, because it can manifest in a couple different ways. With Mars representing action, aggression, conflict, sex, it could be that you will be overly sensitive to different news and different strife and different triggering energies out in the world, whether that's on social media or the news. And so if you do react strongly normally, it may just get amplified that much more. Secondly, we're still in this Venus retrograde, correct? So there may be a lover that comes back in from the past where it's like, let's just do one for old time's sake. And you know better, but then the boundaries or the lines could get blurred with regards to Neptune being like, oh, well, maybe it could work. And then Mars just wants to go along for the ride. Another manifestation could be that you really want to be confident, self-assured, and start doing things or move towards a certain energy, but that confidence could get diluted or shrouded in doubt or confusion. A positive way of this manifestation working out in our favor with this Mars square Neptune is that the sex and intimacy that you get to explore with your partner can be taken to a whole new level, or that you really get to explore each other in ways you've never done before. So it can add some innovation or creation, which could be quite nice. And also too, this could be going after your dreams. And so yes, there could be some doubt or fear on where you want to expand or where you want to grow or how you want to act, but overcoming that doubt and fear can allow to new ideas and new expansions from the universe being able to bless you with those channeled messages. So I wanted to bring this up because we won't have another Mars square Neptune transit until October, when Mars will be in Gemini. So this one is really integral to see. And I'm not sure about all of you watching, depending on your interest or knowledge of astrology, but sometimes I like to be kind of like that human guinea pig or mad scientist to see how these transits will affect me personally, or if you have like a really good transit, knowing that something benevolent is going to happen, or when it can be more frictional, being like, okay, I can either prepare for this ahead of time, or I can just kind of throw myself into the fire and see how this energy will manifest. And sometimes you don't have any control, and the transits surprise even the most professional of astrologers. But I did want to bring that up because, of course, it will be intense. And going back to our theme of self-care, upping our resources and grounding for the week, if you're not careful on Tuesday, you might just feel like you're being pulled and pushed in 101 directions. And we haven't even gotten to the moon conjunct Uranus, which can bring emotional triggers or kind of like something coming out of the blue or unexpected, which kind of knocks you off kilter, which could set off these energetic dominoes in a variety of different directions, depending on your mindset and how you approach the situation. Remember that the moon is exalted in Taurus and very grounded, very stable. But with Uranus, there might be that something or a message or someone that can cause that equilibrium to be knocked off. And then we also have the moon squaring Uranus. So I just feel like emotionally, Tuesday is very energetically charged. So please take care to ensure that you have what you need to not get pulled away and have this day cause a spiral of energy, because you can use it, I think, more on an individual level to stay focused and to have that diligence and move forward in a very specific goal, where through hard work, proper mindset, and faith can lead you to that next level. So that is a great way how to use all those energies in a positive manifestation. Okay. Good. Like I said, I know that was more detailed or a lot of information, but I wanted to touch on that because I've been seeing more and more in client charts when they have a prominent Neptune in their natal chart. It really does help to explain a lot, especially with regards to an oversensitivity or a dreamy or altruistic outlook on life. I know one last example, if someone, let's say in their natal chart, has Venus square Neptune or Venus opposing Neptune, it can have like a fairy tale Disney syndrome where it's love at first sight, or putting love or their partner or their relationship on a pedestal, or kind of like love at first sight, where it's like you look at someone on Instagram being like, oh, they're my partner, we're getting married in a week. It's like, we need to calm down. And I say that because I have one of those aspects in my natal chart where it can just be like, oh, everything's fine. And then the come down from that, when it doesn't happen exactly as you visualize or what you want, can also be quite intense. So I just like to point out and bring attention to Neptune transits, because they can be like magical and whimsical and like woo-woo, but they can also be the other side of the coin as well. So let me know how that resonates or how that's tracking, or even just, I'd be curious as a retrospective, if people are watching this after Monday and Tuesday, how this manifests for them. So moving right along to Wednesday, I really like Wednesday because we have the moon in Taurus making trines to the sun and Pluto. So this adds a more constructive, productive energy. Wednesday is ruled by Mercury. We have Mercury conjunct Saturn. So this is a day to get those correspondence, to get the email, to get any business deals done, contracts. This would be a great, productive, grounding day to move forward in a positive fashion. Or it might just feel like you're coming up for a breath of fresh air after Monday and Tuesday with everything that we've already encountered. And so also the moon is making a nice sextile to Neptune there as well. So innovation, grounding, good ideas, or just your spiritual practices really serving you and adding some nice foundational support throughout the day. Okay. So Wednesday overall is quite nice for that. Once we get to Thursday, the moon has moved into Gemini, and the moon is making a square to Jupiter in Pisces, and the moon is making a trine to Mercury. So with this, I would just caution of taking on too much. With Gemini, it can be very social. Remember, it's mutable air. And so it wants to engage. It's curious, saying yes to everything, every different opportunity or friend. And that for me really is that moon square Jupiter, where it's like everything is a good idea, especially in two mutable signs. However, by having all these different opportunities or connections to connect, you might not fulfill what you need. Something that's just coming to my mind right now, it's like your fridge is empty, like you have nothing planned, your house could be in better order, but you're trying to do all these different social engagements. So remember that we just had the moon in Taurus for the past 2 days. So watching this and kind of planning ahead, knowing that your social life may be picking up significantly near the end of the week, make sure you're getting all of those foundational, structural, supportive elements done, those Taurus themes beforehand, so that you can say yes to as many different opportunities. It can be a lot of fun and very enjoyable. Was there anything else I wanted to talk about on Thursday? Oh, I also kind of channeled when I was just looking at these transits for Thursday of kind of like work, play, dynamic. And if you're feeling like really burnt out or stressed, it might just be the floodgate of just being like, throwing all caution to the wind and just wanting to overdo it, which can also be a moon square Jupiter idea, where Jupiter, of course, is expanding. The moon in Gemini wants to just engage and be social. So it's like, let's do all the things, even though there are structural components or supportive elements that could really help you manage the rest of the week, the rest of the month with better finesse. Okay. When we get to Friday, this is something as well. We just talked about those Neptune aspects. We have the moon making a square to Neptune, and we also have the moon making an opposition to Mars. So we talked about how Monday, Tuesday, but specifically Tuesday is a very energetically intense day. Friday also kind of has that restrictive, slowing down energy because we also have Mercury stationing retrograde this day as well. So there might just be irritants or emotional frustration that you're going through, especially with the moon making an opposition to Mars. Just be careful of what you're saying because you won't be able to take that back. Remember that Mars is that red hot planet. It can speed things up, it can inflame, it can injure. Gemini is our words. So with the moon in Gemini, if we're feeling a certain type of way, we might be using our words to attack or to denigrate. And that can even just be ourselves, right? Like with that moon squaring Neptune, you can be really frustrated or feeling like you're not making any progress. And so you're taking it on yourself and just further delaying the success or the opportunity to just enjoy Friday specifically. And also, I just find this on a personal level, it doesn't always manifest like this, but given that Mars can represent cuts and injuries or illness, even that with the moon in Gemini, the moon representing our body and our health, Gemini representing the fingers, the hands, the arms, the lungs, that some of you might be getting over a cold or like nasal congestion or like phlegm or like even COVID potentially with aspecting the lungs. So just making sure that we're mindful. And it can be that you maybe partied too hard on Thursday and now Friday you're like, oh, I just need to take a sick day or I need to get my health back in order as well. So Friday, again, grounding, structure, purpose, because there's just a lot going on. The positive manifestation of this is that the moon is making a trine to Saturn. So it can really be a great day to focus and be diligent with certain projects, certain tasks that you need to get done. And if you can make sure that your mind is in full and busy, that emotional strength and that concentration can really serve you well. And again, this kind of an energy too, that it might not be even you that is engaging in all these frictional energies, but you might be the bystander or someone who's on the receiving end of a delay at work or something has to get canceled or rescheduled, and thus it affects you and the rest of your day or the rest of your week. So that's just something as well, that if we can have that self-care, self-practice, and diligence throughout the week, our emotional triggers or emotional responses won't be volatile, that we can work through them more smoothly. Once we get into the weekend, I kind of want to couple this together because again, Saturday, the moon is finishing off its transit, but then it's about to go into Cancer, which is also going to be a prominent theme on Saturday. So Saturday, Sunday is nice because we have the moon making that trine to Jupiter in Pisces. So this is great for relationships, for emotions, for dreams, for creation, for imagination. These are all really great energies, especially on Saturday for some of you that want to engage or to connect. Good for like a date night, good for intimacy. I really like this energy a lot. Also good for fertility. So Saturday night, even if you wanted to engage in some pleasurable activities, for those who are trying to conceive, a great day. And then Sunday, this is just something as well, given that the moon will be opposing Venus retrograde, there could be a conversation had with the mother or with parents in general to mend that relationship, because Cancer and Capricorn really do represent the mother and the father of the zodiac, or more specifically, a feminine energy, a mother energy. There could be some tension or friction there, or a female relationship. A really good energy to engage with would just be even to look at your own beauty, your own self-worth, self-love, and really do something to pamper yourself, or take one of your friends and just go and enjoy the day and even just celebrate everything that you have to be grateful for. It doesn't have to be something big and momentous. It can just be like, we survived the week, point blank. And remember that the moon is almost full. So with this creative, fertile energy, there might even be something on the horizon or something that's coming up quite quick for you to celebrate or for you to engage with. So that could also be like you're getting ready for another expansion or a heightened connection in a relationship, which is quite nice. So that's something to look forward to. And also too, like we were talking about this whole Mars square Neptune energy, for specific areas on where that could manifest in your life, look to the houses that are ruled by Sagittarius and Pisces in your chart for further knowledge, and with any of these transits as well. So for example, this moon opposing Venus, knowing what houses are ruled by Cancer and Capricorn, you could see what areas of your life that's really going to affect, whether it's in the financial houses, the second and eighth house, whether it's work-life balance, the fourth and the 10th house, yourself versus relationships, the first and seventh. So again, you can take what I'm saying in these weekly breakdowns and just understand it from a general perspective and take notes, or slowly start to understand how it transposes onto your own personal natal chart. So you can be like, okay, this transit's happening in this area of my life. It gives me an even further clue on how it's going to manifest, and thus how I can prepare for it in return. Okay. So that is the general breakdown for the week. I will also be having more resources available for when Mercury stations retrograde and for that full moon that's going to be happening in Cancer. So stay tuned for that. Please let me know how January thus far is treating you, any victories that you want to celebrate, or anything that you're just working through personally. And of course, if you have any general questions, please let me know in the comments. Anything like really specific, I probably won't have the time to go into detail, but if it's general or I feel like it can help a lot of people, then I'll do my best to get back to all of them in due time. All right. Perfect. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to like, share, subscribe, all the good things. Also, if there's anything else that you're curious about in terms of any of the retrogrades or things that I've talked about, again, let me know in the comments and I will do my best to get back to them all. Okay. Have a beautiful week, and I shall talk to you later. Bye.